story time. So, you know how I wonder if ghosts have precognition, being able to see in the future, basically. So, and I'll tell you why. Because so many times there's so many records of people like about to get hurt or about to cross the street or about to something, and so they hear somebody in their ear or in their head like stop or don't or whatever they say. So it happened to me once. So when I was 21, I had a really bad car accident. It's where this comes from here. Okay, it's where if you look, this part of my tongue right here, like a big chunk of my tongue, was taken out, but they sewed it back. I don't know. Both knees were crushed, and that was it. I was really kind of lucky, but it was pretty awful. Like, when I tell you it was pretty awful, it was head on. I was in a Regal, and he was in, is that what it's called? Chevy Regal? Yeah. And he was in a Lincoln Continental. This is back in the day, in the 70s, where cars were heavy. Heavy as fuck. So, when he hit, what happened was, he woke up. I was just driving down Route 30, listening to the Stones on my radio. I had a cassette tape, and it was the Some Girls album. And that's the song that was playing with Some Girls. Anyway, so as I'm going down Route 30, as I'm going down City Line Avenue, City Line and 30, but I was going down like towards Jerseyville on City Line. As I was doing that, right at the Lancaster, there was Lankenau Hospital was right there at the cross. Okay, I was at that intersection, and as it's kind of like an uphill thing, so not terribly, but a bit. So as I was doing that, I was going probably 40 miles an hour. I had the light. There was no like light in front of me. I was going straight, so like I was just going straight through the intersection. The other guy wasn't. He was directly opposite. We were going like this. He was directly opposite me. His wife had woken up in the morning and been completely paralyzed. So he freaked out and jumped on and called an ambulance. The ambulance came and picked up his wife, but he wanted to have a car at the hospital, so he followed her in his car. And I saw the ambulance go down to the light. I see the lights, and I can just see the top of the lights, and turn into Route 30, where you're going to jump on to Lankenau Hospital in about 100 feet, because it's right there at 30. So, I'm like, okay, I see that pass. I never think there's something behind it. I can't see anything. They don't have the turning light. I have the straightaway, but it was an ambulance. So, I see it go by, so that's all I see. Like, I'm not thinking, oh, maybe, a car is following the ambulance. Who the hell thinks that? So when we breached the hill, breached it, like, instead of me, I'm in my lane going down, he jumps from his lane, which was the turning lane, the right lane, and he jumps into my lane to try and, like, cut the light, because there's no like signal. The light just turned yellow when I went through it, but I had plenty of time, so it was like I was going uphill to go through it. I didn't even see him until the very end. But here's what happened in my car. So I have Jeb. He was a baby. He was literally 5 to 6 months old, and they didn't have car seats back then. You didn't have to have them, and they didn't even have them. Like, I've never seen a car seat, but they had little baby seats that you could pop on your passenger seat. Isn't that the most dangerous thing you ever heard in your life? Now, but we didn't know, so I just had him on this open seat right in the passenger. So Jeb, okay, so as we go to like do this, he jumps in my lane. Like he jumps into, like he only has now my lane and the next lane, and they're both going the opposite way he is, and he jumps in my lane. And it was like, all of a sudden, somebody screams in my ear, a female screams in my ear, slow down! I turned towards Jeb because that's where, it was this ear, so that's where that's where the noise was coming from. And so I turned like, what? And I look at the baby, and it was so fast. I look at the baby, I go, oh my God. I look at the street, the road, I pick my foot up to put it on the brake. It was like 1, 2, 3, boom! And the car hits me head on, and it's lights out. So they were too late, yet they knew before me to try to warn me, but only seconds before. I never figured out who it was. It was such a yell in my ear that I heard the words and I knew that it was a female, and that's all I knew. Like I didn't know, I couldn't figure out like who, like if it was like somebody I knew or a voice I remembered, or it was just a yelling, like slow down, and it was high, it was like slow down, like that, but louder, right here. I mean, like somebody had lifted my hair, like my hair wasn't even in the way. So, okay, creepy as fuck, but, and then I hit like crazy, like Jeb and I. Jeb wasn't really hurt though. He fell onto because we didn't have car seats back then. We just had those little seats. I already said that. We just had little seats, like regular baby seats, but we didn't have car seats with like straps. Hold on. So who was that? So I don't know. Like sometimes these warnings you get come out of nowhere, and you just need to be grateful. But it does beg the question: who yelled at me and why? Why did they? Obviously, they were trying to warn me. Okay, so I'm not crazy. But who are they to me that they would care? Do you understand what I'm asking? Like I don't understand. Who are these people that this is something they care about? They care about whether or not I get into a car wreck with Jeb, or maybe they cared about Jeb. Maybe it wasn't about me. Maybe it was about Jeb, and he had something to do or some role to play that they didn't. Whoever yelled at me didn't want, or maybe it was an ancestor or a relative or someone was in my car that day and yelled. And so my point is, the other day, last night, I had a girl in my room who I think is named Gwen, and I think she has a daughter or somebody younger than her, maybe a much younger sister named Rachel, and they were in my room last night, and they were like laughing and screaming in my ear. Well, one was, but then when I like that night, I tried to pull who they were, and I got these two sisters, or a mother and daughter, one or the other. But if it's a mother and daughter, then Gwen, the older of the two, is kind of like not a very responsible mama. I I would think she's more like the sister to this girl, but you never know. But anyway, my point is that usually there's a reason for somebody to yell in your ear, and I've had it happen twice this week. Okay, one was the Gwen, and she was like kind of screaming, like laughing, screaming at the same time, and she woke up everybody in my house. All the dogs jump up, barking, flipping out. And then I had a man too, and also both times I'm not getting a clear answer on what they want, you know what I mean? So maybe I'll have to do a little seance and draw them out, but something's going on in my home. And okay, so I'll finish the story. So the man had woken up who hit me, and his wife was paralyzed. I felt horrible for him, I have to be honest. Like, I didn't feel any bad stuff for him. I felt nothing but sadness for him. He came into my room in the hospital to apologize, I knew he had to have talked to a lawyer by then, and I knew that lawyer probably said, don't apologize, but he did. It came in. First off, when he hit me head on, he drove the engine underneath my butt, and they couldn't get me out for a while, and it was like really hot, and I was like so hot, like it was so hot in there. So he can't, okay, so we hit. Jeb falls onto the passenger floor, and everything crushes in around him like a little pocket. I get smacked with the steering wheel in the face, and I had a seatbelt on, but it didn't matter because of where the engine ended up. So the engine was driven down and under my ass. So I was basically sitting on, it was all crumpled forward. I was sitting on the engine, and the mirror had dropped down and was like here. And I looked in the mirror like 5 times and did not see any blood. And my body was like stopping me from being able to see like the bad stuff. So, and I kept looking like, why? Because I'll tell you why. Because I thought all my teeth were broken because it was very jagged in my mouth. But the truth was, I had bitten my tongue in half. So what I was really feeling was this piece of my tongue was like hanging off. But I would look in the mirror, the rear view mirror that was like down. I would look in the rear view mirror that was like down, and I would think, oh, okay, I'm okay, because there was nothing there. But if I looked down on my chest, it was like covered in blood. So then I hear Jeb, and he just went like, ah. So I reached down, and there's like a hole right here, because the entire dashboard had lifted up and then crushed in. So it was like here, the mirror was here, but there was like a hole right here where I could put my arm in and grab Jeb. So I grabbed Jeb, he's 4 months old, and I lay him on my chest, and he's moaning quietly, like, oh, because he bumped his head, but he was fine. But I'm bleeding profusely from a cut in my face, which went all the way through. You can see my fucking gums. A cut in half tongue, and like I'm just pouring blood from my mouth because that's what got hit. So I thought my teeth were all broken. I kept going like, ah, my teeth. But actually, okay, if you look at my tongue, that's what was cut off, was the tip. Like on this side, you can see it's like different. So they put it back. That's what they do. They like sewed it back on. Okay. Because it was always attached. It was just hanging. But I couldn't feel that. I thought it was broken teeth, and I couldn't see it because my brain wouldn't let me see how bad I looked. And so then both knees were crushed, and it was very hot, so it was starting to burn. It never caught fire. Like, my car didn't catch fire, but that was a worry. Anyway, the guy that hit me, he pulls his Lincoln Continental across the way, and I'm like passing out, in and out. It was horribly jarring. Like, my whole brain was jarred. And so, next thing I know, they're tapping. Come on, come on. So I rolled down my window because my door wouldn't open. I rolled down my window, and they're like, give us the baby. And you know what's crazy? I have no idea who I handed my baby to. I just was like, oh, okay, it wasn't cops. It wasn't, like, firemen. It was just civilians, and I handed my baby out the window. I was out of my mind. I didn't even know. And then I, like, leaned back and just, like, laid there. And I opened my eyes. I would open my eyes and look around to see what was going on. And then the firemen all come, and they were trying to get me out. They couldn't get me out right then. And I look over, and they have the baby, and they pick him up and, like, look at his face. And that one guy hands him to an EMT, an ambulance. And I look across the way, and the guy that hits me sees this bloody baby. Blood from head to toe. He had a little hoodie on, and the whole thing, I bled all over him. But Jeb wasn't bleeding at all. And I knew that, but he didn't. So I look over, and this old man, like, grabs his head and starts crying. And he's going, oh, no, 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 when he sees Jeb, a baby, come out of this car. And then he just, like, as hard as you could imagine, he just, like, steps back and boom, goes down on his ass onto the curb. And, like, 2 cops come over and is, like, talking to him because I think they thought he was, like, physically hurt, but he never was. And, I'm, like, realizing he thinks it's the baby. He thinks the blood is the baby's, but the blood's mine. So I'm, like, trying to yell across this thing, and I'm going, because I have half a tongue. So, and I don't notice that because all I think is my teeth are broken because it's jaggedy. Anyway, I don't remember getting out of the car. I might have passed out. And the next thing I know, they're taking me through the doors of the Lankenau Hospital. And my dad's there, so disjointed. And my dad's there, and he said, he's like, you okay? Is the baby okay? And they had taken off all his clothes. He had on a little eagle suit. They had taken off all his clothes. Bloody clothes, and my mother walked in, saw the clothes, and passed the fuck out. So they had her on a gurney because she just saw the blood and thought my grandson's dead, you know. But the guy came in, the guy that hit me, he came into my emergency room, and he walked over and was rubbing my feet under I have a sheet on, and I was just, like, laying there high as fuck on morphine, and he's, like, rubbing my feet, like, I'm so sorry, just crying. And I was like, it's okay, it's fine. Honestly, people have accidents. But his wife woke up paralyzed, so he was just, like, flying to get to the hospital. I saw the ambulance go, but yeah, not quick enough. Because I saw the ambulance go, and I was like, oh, okay. I never dreamed somebody was on the other side of this hill kind of thing where I couldn't see and jumped into my lane head on, and we breached the hill, and so that's my accident. And who was that? Who yelled in my ear? Who was it who was it? Like, was it an ancestor? Was it a ghost? I never knew. I just know that they tried to slow me down, and I didn't have time. I didn't have time to put my foot on the brake. I did. I wanted to. I, like, stopped what I was doing at that moment. I looked for them, didn't see them, went to put my foot on the brake and got hit. But thank you to whoever tried to save me. And now I have other people yelling in my ear. What are they trying to save me from? I'm just getting a little concerned. We'll see. But I love you guys. I gotta go. Bye.